Yo, what's up guys? It's XRAYZ and welcome to Behind the Horror. This is episode 18, Shadow of Evil's Rise of Cthulhu. So Shadows of Evil just came out and there is a lot of really weird and creepy stuff to it. Obviously there is the Cthulhu reference, which is what we're going to be talking about. There's a reference to a cult. There's a reference to paranoia, which you can hear in radio messages. And overall, this map just has a lot going on in terms of creepy factor, in terms of mythos, and in terms of just overall it being a very engrossing story. It's really, really creepy. And we're going to be talking about that, more specifically Cthulhu, what his story is, and the inspiration behind this map. Before we jump into it, guys, if you guys want to support the video, make sure to leave a like and a favorite. It's the first episode of Behind the Horror for Black Ops 3, so if we could hit 1,000 likes, that would be insane. If not, perfectly fine, but thank you guys so much for supporting the video. Also, if you guys are new, if you enjoy content like this, first zombie video you're watching from me, I post a ton of in-depth zombie content, from storyline info to theories and a whole bunch more, so make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss a video in the future. Lastly, if you guys do want to support the channel and help me do this full time, I do have a Patreon page. You guys can check it out, linked in the description below. It'd be much appreciated. You don't have to, but check it out if you feel like. Now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into this story. What is Cthulhu? What is his story? The Call of Cthulhu is a story written by H.P. Lovecraft that inspired a lot of other writers to go into the horror genre. Now, at the time, H.P. Lovecraft actually was a revolutionary in the things that he was writing. They were very, very out there. They were very different. And The Call of Cthulhu is one of the books that kind of started it all. The story for Call of Cthulhu is presented as a manuscript found among the papers of the late Francis Thurston of New York. In the text, Thurston recounts his discovery of notes left behind by his grand-uncle, George Angle, a prominent professor of Semitic languages at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, who died suddenly in the winter of 1926 to 1927. The first part of the story, The Horror in Clay, concerns a small bas-relief sculpture found among the papers. The sculpture turns out to be the work of Henry Wilcox, a student at the Rhode Island School of Design, who based the work off his dreams of the great cyclopean cities of Titan blocks and sky-flung monoliths, all dripping with green ooze and sinister with Latin horror. These images are associated in the dreams with the word Cthulhu. Wilcox's dreams began on March 1st, 1925, culminating in a period from March 23rd until April 2nd, when Wilcox was in a state of delirium. During the same period, Angle's research reveals there was a case of outer mental illness and outbreaks of groups folly or mania around the world, from Paris and London, Africa and South America, Haiti and Philippines, Western Ireland, and India. In the second part of the story, The Tale of Inspector Legras, Angle's notes reveal that the professor had heard the word Cthulhu and seen a similar image much earlier. At the 1908 meeting of the American Archaeological Society in St. Louis, Missouri, a New Orleans police officer named John Raymond had asked the assembled antiquarians to identify a statuette made of an unidentifiable greenish-black stone that had been captured some months before in the wooded swamps south of New Orleans during a raid on a supposed voodoo meeting. The statuette, idol, fetish, or whatever it was, closely resembled the Wilcox bas-relief. It represented a monster of vaguely anthropoid outline, but with an octopus-like head whose face was a massive feeler, a scaly, rubbery-looking body, prodigious claws on hind and fore feet, and long, narrow wings behind. On March 1st, 1907, Legras had led a party in search of several women and children who disappeared from a squatter community. The police found the victims, oddly marred bodies being used in a ritual that centered on the statuette, on which roughly 100 men, all of very low, mixed-blooded, and mentally aberrant type, who were repeatedly chanting a phrase with the word Cthulhu. After killing 5 of the participants and arresting 47 others, Legras interrogated the prisoners and learned the central idea of their loathsome faith. They worshipped, so they said, the great old ones who lived ages before there were any men, and who came to the young world out of the sky. Those old ones were gone now, inside the earth and under the sea, but their dead bodies had told their secrets in dreams to the first men, who formed a cult which had never died, hidden in distant wastes and dark space all over the world until the time when the great priest Cthulhu, from his dark house in the mighty city of R'lyeh under the waters, should rise and bring the earth again beneath his sway. Someday he would call, and when the stars were ready, the secret cult would always be waiting to liberate him. The prisoners identified the statuette as Great Cthulhu and translated the chant phrase as, "In his house at the Rayz, dead Cthulhu awaits streaming." One particularly talkative cultist known as Old Castro named the center of the cult as Urim, the city of pillars, in Arabia. One of the academics, questioned by Rayz, a professor of anthropology at Princeton University, points out that he had encountered high up on the West Greenland coast a similar phenomenon out on an 1860 expedition. A singular tribe or cult of degenerates whose religion, a curious form of devil worship, chilled him with its deliberate bloodthirstiness and repulsiveness. Webb said that the Greenland cult had both the same chant and a similar hideous fetish. In the third part of the story, The Madness from the Sea, Thurston extends the inquiry into the Cthulhu cult beyond what Professor Angle had discovered. He discovered by chance an article from the Sydney Bulletin, an Australian newspaper, in April 18, 1925 that reported the discovery of a derelict ship in the Pacific Ocean with only one survivor, Norwegian sailor Gustav Johnson, second mate of the schooner Emma out of Auckland, New Zealand, which on March 22nd encountered a heavily armed yacht, the Alert. After the Alert attacked without provocation, the crew of the Emma fought back and, though losing their own ship, managed to board the opposing ship and kill all of their attackers. The article went on to say that the survivor encountered an island the next day, and Johnson refused to talk about what had happened to them. Thurston realized from the article that the crew of the Alert was connected to the Cthulhu cult, and travels first to New Zealand, then to Australia, where he sees a statue revealed from the Alert with a cuttlefish head, dragon body, scaly wings, and a hieroglyph pedestal, and finally to Oslo, where he learns that Johnson died suddenly after an encounter with two Lascar soldiers. When Johnson's widow gives Thurston a manuscript written in English that her husband left behind, the narrator learns of the crew's discovery of the uncharted island, which is described as a coastline of mingled mud, ooze, and weedy cyclopean masonry, which can be nothing less than tangible substance of Earth's supreme terror, the nightmare corpse city of Rayz. Exploring the risen land, the sailors managed to open a carven portal, and from the newly opened depths, after vigintillions of years, the great Cthulhu was loose again. Johnson manages to get back to the yacht when Cthulhu hesitantly enters the water to pursue the ship. Johnson turns the Alert around and rams the creature's head, which bursts with a slushy nastiness as of a cloven sunfish, only to immediately begin reforming as Johnson and William Britton make their escape. After reading this manuscript, Thurston ends his own narrative on a pessimistic note. He assumes that he will soon meet the fate of Angle and Johnson. I know too much, and cults still live. He also thinks that Cthulhu, while is restoring his broken head, was dragged down again with the sinking city, thus keeping humanity safe until the next time when the stars are right. So that's a little bit about who Cthulhu is and a little bit of the mythos behind it. There's a huge universe with different creatures and different older gods, whatever you want to call them. There's a ton of them, but the central focus of this one is going to be Cthulhu. It's the statues you see around the map. It's the rituals we gotta complete, which again were very reminiscent of the sacrifices or rituals that these crazed cult guys were doing, and it all connects to Shadows of Evil. You can tell that there was a huge amount of inspiration grabbed from the Cthulhu mythos for this story, and we don't know if it's going to continue on from here. That's the interesting part. But anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Behind the Horror. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a favorite. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes for this first episode. It'd be insane if we could hit it. And of course, if you are new, if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more content like this, first time around here, I post a lot of in-depth zombie content you won't want to miss. Make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss any videos. Anyways guys, I'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, check out my Patreon page once again. If you want to keep talking, Twitter is the best place to do so. And of course, make sure to use the discount code OGXRAYZ to get 10% off G Fuel and Control Freaks. Link in the description below. I'm out. Peace.